Today's magazine is called Saving Gibson. See if you can find this one and follow along with us. On the front it says Saving Gibson. Meet Gibson. He is a baby sea otter. People found him all alone on a beach. Now he has a new home. He took a big trip to get there. As you read, think about the different ways people helped Gibson. Open up to the inside. It says Gibson's Big Trip. And the picture shows us a scientist feeds Gibson. So the first part, we have a heading there, and that tells us what this part is going to be about. Gibson gets lost. A sea otter pup was alone on a beach. Rain was pouring down. The pup was crying out for help. People heard his cries. They took him inside. They named him Gibson. The next part is about Gibson needs a home. Gibson was too young to go back to the beach alone. He needed a new home. An aquarium had a spot for him. An aquarium is a place where sea animals live. It would be the perfect home for Gibson. But there was a problem. The aquarium was far, far away. How would this little sea otter get there? This part is called Gibson Travels. Gibson would go on a plane, but sea otters are used to chilly seawater. The plane might be too warm for him. Scientists knew what to do. They made sure the temperature inside the plane was cold. They also put Gibson on a pile of ice. This kept him cool for the trip. Gibson has a new home. Gibson made it to the aquarium. The aquarium had everything Gibson needed. Scientists fed and played with him. He's very inquisitive and curious, says one of the scientists. In his new home, Gibson is never alone. He gets a lot of love and care every day. So up top it shows us Gibson flew on a plane from California to Georgia. And down here, Gibson plays with ice at the aquarium. Now, I don't know how much television you watch, but there is a show, it might be on Animal Planet. There's a show called The Zoo that talks about the Bronx Zoo in New York. And then there's also a show called The Aquarium that talks about teaches about an aquarium in Georgia. So I actually saw a couple weeks ago the Georgia Aquarium, the aquarium television show that had this little guy Gibson on it. So if you are able to watch that show, if you get Animal Planet, you can maybe find the one called The Aquarium where you can see the little baby sea otter called Gibson. Over here, this tells us about wild otters. Gibson lives in an aquarium now. People take care of him, but most sea otters live in the wild. What is life like for them? They live in groups called, I think that says rafts. They live in a kelp forest. Kelp is a type of seaweed. They eat a lot of food like sea urchins. Those are small, spiky animals. So that's what this is here. And if you get a chance to see sea otters, it's kind of cute. They will float on their backs like you see in this picture up here and put their food like on their belly while they eat it. Let's see what this is going to show us. Okay, so just some cute sea otter pictures. Let's check out our video.
I've got an underwater riddle for you. What's brown, furry, and rides on its mother's tummy? a sea otter pup. All about sea otters. Sea otters are fuzzy mammals that live in cold waters along the Pacific Ocean coasts. Many of them live in kelp forests. These are underwater habitats. In this habitat, a type of seaweed called kelp grows. There's a lot of food for sea otters in the kelp forest. They eat sea stars, crabs, fish, snails, and small spiky animals called sea urchins. Some of these animals have hard shells, but sea otters have a special way to open them. They use rocks to crack open the shells. They are one of the only animals that use tools. Sea otters use kelp plants too, but they don't eat them. They wrap the kelp around their bodies before they fall asleep. The kelp is like an anchor and stops them from drifting away while they sleep. Sea otters spend a lot of time floating, swimming, and diving. Some spend their entire lives in the water. And the water they live in is cold. How do they stay warm? Their thick fur. Sea otters have the thickest fur of any animal. In fact, people used to hunt sea otters for their fur. They almost went extinct. But people decided to help sea otters. They made it illegal to hunt them. Now, sea otters are making a comeback. Their numbers are on the rise. That's good news for sea otters and for us.
Okay, let's check out our game.
What did the sea otter say? Listen to the sea otter say a word. Click on that word to reveal a photo. Sleep.
So if I'm looking for the word sleep, I'm going to think about my beginning sound, sl, and then my ending sound, p, sleep, sleep. I know that SL says sol, two E's together says E, and then p at the end.
Ask.
Ask, ask. Right here, ask.
Those.
Those. We've got partner letters, th. Remember our TH sound, th. Now this one has th, but so does this one. So I need to think about my other sounds, th, o, s, those. Magic E gives all of its power to the O and gives it that long O sound.
Right.
I, t, right. Here's a beginning sound of but so is this one. So I've got to think about what comes next. I, t, right.
Best.
B-est, best. B-est, best.
Read.
Going back to my R sound, E-A, makes the E sound D.
No.
This is a tricky one because there's all different kinds of no. N-O, like my mom said, no, I cannot eat all the ice cream, starts with an N. But this one has a silent letter in the front, K-N. We don't say kn. The K is silent, so we only hear the N sound. And we have O-W making O. No, this is when you know something in your head. I know all the letters in the alphabet.
Which.
W, partner letters, W-H, I, and then partner letters at the end, C-H, W, ich, which. I think we had this as a spelling word a long time ago.
Wish.
Partner letters again, this time at the end. W, I, sh. SH says sh.
Think.
Partner letters at the beginning. TH like th, thumb. Th, I, nk. Think.
From.
Beginning blend. Fur. FR. Fur. From.
After.
Last one. Aft. And then bossy R makes the sound. After. All right, go to the very back page of your magazine. It says, what did the sea otter eat? Sea otters eat a lot. The graph below shows what an adult sea otter ate in just 1 hour. Use it to answer the questions. So we learned a lot about graphing in math last week. Let's use our graph, otter food graph. Down below, it tells us the different kinds of food: sea urchins, crabs, clams, and mussels. On this side, it has numbers for how many were eaten. And if you can see here, it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So when we look at the sea urchin graph, it goes up to this line, which is 30. It eats 30 sea urchins in 1 hour. Look at the crab graph, goes up to this line, which is 20. The sea otter eats 20 crabs in 1 hour. The clams goes all the way up to 50. The sea otter eats 50 clams in an hour. And mussels. Now this is a little tricky because it's in between 30 and 40. What number would be in between 30 and 40? Well, we would say 35. That's halfway between 30 and 40. So 35 mussels. All right. Number 1, how many clams did this sea otter eat? So go to clams, go up and find the number that goes with that line, and we can see it is 50. Fill it in on your paper. The sea otter ate 50 clams in 1 hour. Number 2, how many mussels did the sea otter eat? This was the tricky one. It was in between 30 and 40, and we said that it was 35. Number 3, did the otter eat more sea urchins or mussels? So we're going to compare. Sea urchins had 30, mussels had 35. Which one is more? 35 is more than 30, so we're going to do mussels had more. Down below, the otter ate 5 more crabs. How many crabs did this otter eat? So if we're at 20 and we want to add on 5 more, 20 plus 5. So I keep 20 in my head and then I count on 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So on this line for our bonus, we would write 25.
Good work.
Okay, good job on your magazine today.